Have you ever seen a tool like this? This is a Skil Flip Drill that was sent to me as a sample by the company to make this video, but that never affects what I say in my reviews. And I was kind of blown away by the look of this tool when I first saw it, because I've never seen anything like it, but it makes a lot of sense. I can't tell you how many times I've had to change out a drill bit for a screwdriver tip and then back and forth and over to complete a project. And I'm just a DIYer, but I can't imagine how often that happens for the pros. Obviously, you can carry two tools so that you're not always changing out bits and screwdrivers, but that's not always easy, especially if you're on a ladder or there are other constraints in play. So having a single tool that can flip its tip around could be a massive time saver so that you can complete your work faster, and who doesn't like that? But the question is it good? I mean, I've seen a lot of innovations in my time where a company launches a product that's supposed to be a combo device or something that takes the best of two things and creates one product that does both. But the sad fact is that instead of being the best of both worlds, a lot of times you get the worst of both worlds. The perfect example I always think of is those reverse tricycle motorcycle things you see on the road. You get all the downsides of riding a motorcycle with all of the downsides of driving a car in a single package. I mean, come on. So if you stay to the end, I'll attempt to answer. Is it good? But you might come up with your own conclusions too. So let's take a look at the tool, and I'll just say that I was impressed taking it out of the package. It's actually much lighter and better balanced than my regular drills. In fact, I weighed my 18-volt Ryobi hammer drill without its battery alongside this 20-volt Skil Flip Drill without its battery. The Flip Drill was just 2.1 pounds, while the Ryobi was 3.3 pounds. So the Ryobi weighed 1.2 pounds more, which maybe it doesn't sound like much, but that's actually 57% more. And of course, this isn't an apples to apples comparison in drilling capabilities, but it's what I have to compare right now. And when you account for that difference in weight, you can see why I'd immediately notice that difference. Now, instead of the motor being encased in the top of the drill, it's located in front of your hand. So if you're doing a lot of work, in addition to being lighter, the lower position of the heavy part of the drill causes less wrist strain for me. And so I like that. Besides the flip feature, which we'll get to in a moment, let's do a feature lightning round. First, the tool comes with a 2 amp hour battery and charges via USB-C. I mean, why has this not been a thing before? We all have these giant battery chargers for our power tool battery packs, but is that even necessary? USB-C is so much more universal and compact. I feel so free, finally. And I was kind of surprised they included a USB-C charger with a USB-C cord. Definitely not something you automatically assume with electronics these days. There's an LED light to illuminate the work when you pull the trigger. It's nice to have, again, but not always included with every power tool. You always need to check. This button switches between higher speed drilling and lower speed driving modes. This switch controls forward, reverse, and lock. The top has a magnetic plate to hold screws or drill bits or screw tips. The battery has a charge indicator that you can show by pressing this button. It comes with an optional belt hook you can attach to the side of the drill, or if you don't like it, you don't have to. It has a switch you set to 1 for low speed, high torque screw driving, or to 2 for high speed, low torque, lighter drilling applications. And then there's the main feature that we're all here for, the flip and drill and driver. Okay, that came out wrong, but yes, it's a pretty nifty trick. Most normal sized hex drill bits and hex screwdriver bits will fit in the flipped back position as long as they're under 4 inches in total length. And to flip, you just push down this front button and flip. You notice you can flip it 180 degrees and then back in the reverse direction, or you can keep rotating continuously in the same direction. But it's terrific, and it definitely has plenty of power to drill and drive everything I've tried it on. But that's not to say everything is 100% perfect and wonderful. Yes, it has a few minor trade-offs that certainly aren't major issues or concerns, but if you're thinking that this is something you want to purchase, let's just go over a few of those quickly so that there are no surprises. First, there's no hammer drill. So if you're drilling in masonry, you might want to be looking at a different tool. Next, the drill only accepts hex drill bits, which I generally prefer when there's a choice since they're quicker to change out. But just keep in mind that if you need the flexibility for regular drill bits or very large bits that perhaps aren't available in a hex bit. Also, earlier we talked about the limitation on the available length for bits in this flipped back position. It only accepts bits up to 4 inches in total length. But before you say that's a deal breaker, keep in mind that, of course, this drill can certainly use longer drill bits, but you'll just have to keep them pointing forward. Your only limitation here is that you aren't able to flip it around into that backwards pointing direction. So don't get too worried about it, but it's a detail you should be aware of. And the last thing I'll mention here is that the drill comes loose. There's no bag to organize and carry it around in with a charger and a box of drill bits and perhaps an extra battery. And I don't want to hear any jokes about a man purse. All I'm saying is that a simple bag would definitely have been welcome here to carry my drill and a few daily essentials like my keys, some chewing gum, and maybe some tissues. But with all that said, is this still a tool that you should consider? At the start of this video, we talked about those inventions like the infamous motorized reverse tricycles that I always laugh at because it offers the worst features of a motorcycle with the worst features of a car. So is this the power tool equivalent of a motorized trike? And the answer is a resounding no. While it's certainly not 100% perfect in every way, and no tool ever is, this is definitely a tool I can find space and use for around my home and my business. In fact, I predict that it'll be my go-to drill and driver for every project I have unless there's a specific need to go back to my old tools. It's just too light and too convenient not to love. And let's be honest here, it also looks pretty darn cool. But with any new innovative design, there's always a concern about whether something like this flip drill will last. And I don't have a solid answer for that, but I'm not too worried about it either because Skil backs up this tool with a 5-year warranty. And I realize there are a lot of companies offering warranties on their power tools, but a lot of them are from overseas brands you've never heard of that will probably not be around in just a few months. Warranties don't help if the company disappears, but this is Skil, which was founded over 100 years ago and is still in business. So I kind of feel like they're not going away anytime soon, and their 5-year warranty feels pretty darn solid. So I hope this short video has helped you decide if this Skil flip drill is right for you, and thanks for watching.